What did your parents teach you as a kid that you didn't realize was actually effed up until you were older? Story 1. My dad told me he could drink beer in the car if he drank it while the car was stopped. It's only drinking and driving if the car is in motion. I was like, makes sense.
I was around 4. Reply.
That's actually the premise of the drinking and driving drinking game for Mario Kart. Each player needs to finish a beer by the end of the race, but you can't drink while you're driving. Pro tip: chug it all at the start of the race and then you get the good items to make your comeback. Reply 2. Mario Kart. Story 2.
They said foster parents were all pedophiles who raped and pimped the kids they took in.
My stepdad would tell us this whenever we got bruises from him hitting us to discourage us from calling social services or telling a teacher. Edit. Didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for all the love. I turned out okay. Met some people who foster in my adult years and they're the nicest, kindest people ever. My stepdad left my mom for a Chinese mail-order wife, and my mom remarried to a truck driver who is the best dad a guy could have. Reply. Holy shit, my mom would say the same stuff to make us lie to CPS every time they got called by schools. Reply 2. What the fuck? I hope you're doing alright these days. Reply. I'm having to mourn over the life I could have had and realize I'm probably going to be fucked up by my various traumas for life. But I have a roof over my head and good friends and a gross tiny dog, so small victories. Story 3. Apparently healthy conflict resolution doesn't involve complete avoidance in the form of locking yourself in the bedroom for days on end. Reply. I got ridiculed for pouting. But I wasn't taught how to manage bad feelings or situations, so I just did what I could. Wasn't until years later I realized I was copying my parents. Reply 2. I was shamed for sulking. I think sulking was feeling sad, or something. Reply 3. Bruh, this. One time my parents had agreed to let me use their debit card to buy an online game in exchange for cash that I had. When the day came that they said I had to wait for an unknown reason, I understood and didn't make a scene, but was still a little disappointed. I then proceeded to get chewed out for pouting. When I said it was okay, and that it wasn't a big deal, I then got yelled out for being passive-aggressive. Sometimes you can't win. Story 4. Anytime I felt hurt by a conflict with a friend, my parents would tell me to never talk to them again because they aren't real friends anyway. I ghosted all of my best friends thinking it was the right thing to do. Now, I know that real friends talk things out and it makes the friendships even stronger. A very painful realization. I never even considered my parents could have been wrong. Reply. Similar situation. A female friend of mine came out to me as gay in middle school. I told her I was okay with it. Didn't think anything of it and told my dad later on that day. He immediately freaked out and made me call said friend and tell her I couldn't be her friend anymore. I still remember hearing the pain in her voice when she asked me why. Years later my dad was diagnosed as bipolar, BPD, and I saw that friend who had since transitioned. Still wish we were friends, cause he's cool AF. Maddox, if you're reading this, I love you, bro. Reply 2. Honestly, reach out now even just to say what happened. Hopefully it will help him heal some trauma, and it will be good for you to get it off your chest too. If you don't become friends again, that's fine, but who knows, you might reconnect. Story 5. My parents told me that I had a limited number of words and when I got to that limit I would die. I guess it was an easy way to make me shut up. Reply. My mom used to say that to me as well. She used to get really mad at me if she felt like I asked a dumb question and would say that I was making her use possibly her last breath. Like she might need that breath one day and now she's wasted it on me. Reply 2. What an evil thing to say to a child. Reply 3. My mom used to bet me that I couldn't keep quiet for 5 minutes on the bus. I was young and had no concept of time. That bus journey was an easy 30 minutes. Whenever I pointed to her watch to ask if it had been 5 minutes, she would say no. I won the bet and got to borrow a computer game from the video shop though. So all was well in the end, I guess. Story 6. My dad was teaching me about credit cards and said you can just make the minimum payment every month. It blew my mind, made it seem like free money. Thank God I didn't take that advice. I pay my credit card off every month and he's drowning in credit card debt.
Reply.
What an odd take. This is pretty much the highest legal interest you're likely to be charged in your entire life. Generally speaking, unless you owe a loan shark or something, there is nothing worse to carry a balance on than a credit card debt, from a financial perspective. Story 7. After arguing with a girlfriend and not speaking with her for a few days, both my parents told me separately to hold onto my beef with her like a grudge and use it against her later. I've been married to the girlfriend now 25 years this year, never once took my parents' advice, and have no idea how my parents' marriage survived. LOL. Story 8. If you ignore bullies, they will go away.
Reply. I got beaten up by 4 kids when I was young.
My mother dotted on me and got me in a nice warm bath. My father, when he got home, was furious at the whole thing, so all he said to me was, "Next time you fight back with all you've got." My parents taught me to punch my bullies. Story 9. When I was 7, my uncle was doing coke while I was staying over and I told him that my mom said never to do drugs and he said you're allowed to do cocaine because rich people do it. Luckily never got a chance to do cocaine, but I totally thought it made sense. He also died of a cocaine overdose when I was 10.
Story 10. During a car ride, my dad once explained to me the concept of micro-murder.
It was the idea that the seconds spent in traffic behind someone driving below the speed limit, and other instances of people inconveniencing you, were seconds of your life that you couldn't get back, and should be upset about. I realize as an adult that he's got some issues and just needed an excuse to resent random people on the street.
Reply.
I think your dad might be a genius. Story 11. If someone ever touches you, hit them back and don't stop hitting until they stop moving. By my dad, who is facing his 3rd attempted murder charge. Story 12. There's a crazy bitch that buys children's baby teeth for $1.
Reply.
Look at Mr. Moneybags over here getting a whole $1.
Hey,
you're awesome. Subscribe.